What we're going to speak about tonight is an incredible inyan to do with, are we allowed to use the names of HaKadosh Baruch Hu for different purposes? We'll obviously explain that. So we're going to speak about, and number one, this is page 1 in the introduction over there, right before that one. The one before, where we're going to speak about, in the words of the Ramban, we're going to speak about the entire concept of the names of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. What is the difference between the names, using the names of HaKadosh Baruch Hu? The entire Torah is the names of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The difference between Nevuah and Ruach HaKodesh, prophecy and Ruach HaKodesh, the Urim V'Tumim that the Kohen Gadol used to wear, and all these different things. And then, what about Ruach HaKodesh nowadays? Does there exist Ruach HaKodesh nowadays? Meaning nowadays, you could come and say, this person had Ruach HaKodesh. And many times, yes or no. So obviously, you have to stay tuned. So let's start. Page number 1. Page number 1 starts. The Ramban. Okay, in the words of the Ramban, it's going to come out that we're going to have 4 different questions. Number 1, Mahut Shemotav Shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. What is the essence of the names of HaKadosh Baruch Hu? Which means, why is it that you have different names? You have a name of Yud Kevavke, a name of Elokim, a name of Abmonai. Why do we have so many names? Right? Imagine right now, I'm going to call him Ha'askan Gadol. So he's got a name. Afterwards, he's got other names as well. So each name obviously is going to depict other things, obviously. You understand? So that's why, right? You didn't drink enough.
It's already my second shot.
Okay, fine. Okay.
Rabbi, you have the one shot.
Yeah, he said, number 1, what is the essence of the names of HaKadosh Baruch Hu? Number 2, are you allowed to use those names? Are you allowed to use the names of HaKadosh Baruch Hu or not? Number 3, the entire Torah is the names of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Number 4, the difference between Nevuah and Ruach HaKodesh. So let's start. Okay, we're going to start. We're talking about Rav Moshe Chaim Luzzatto. Who is that? The Ramchal. The Ramchal, Rabbi Moshe Chaim Luzzatto, and Derech Hashem, he comes and he says like this. Ve'omnam. On page 1a, it says, Ratzah Hashem Yitbarach liot nikra b'shem, כדי שיוכלו ברואיו להתעורר אליו לקרוא אותו, להזכירו ולהתקרב אליו. והנה ייחל לכבודו השם המיוחד ואמר לו זה שמי לעולם, והוא השם שנקרא בו על שם הכבוד בעצמו. ואומנם כפי כל פרטי השפעותיו רצה ונקרא בשמות שונים. Which means like this. I'm going to ask you a question. If you don't have a name for HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you cannot understand the HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Which means that according to the name, you're able to associate to what it is. So when you say Hashem is Hashem HaKadosh Baruch Hu is Rahman, what are you saying? He's the merciful one. And that's when you're saying, when he's going to say Yud Kevavke and so on and so forth. If you say HaKadosh Baruch Hu is Elokim, which is God, so then what happens? Right? So you have, right? So you have what's called justice. He's a Din, he's a Dayan, he's a judge. So therefore, every single one of the names, and that's how the Ramchal brings down the Derech Hashem, the names were done purposely in order that we could actually come and understand who is HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's the Ramchal. Rabbi. This is explained, one second, with the Nefesh HaChaim. Rav Chaim Volozhin. Rav Chaim Volozhin comes and he says in number 1, 2, Vehu ma'amram ze shemot rabba Elokei avotechem shelachani alechem. אותה שעה נתברר משה על עסקיו, באותה שעה היה מבקש משה שיודעים הקדוש ברוך הוא את השם הגדול. Says, Moshe Rabbeinu comes and he says, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, show me your name. Not show me the money. Show me your name. Yeah, so what happens? He comes and says, show me your name. So he tells him, 1 second. Amar lo HaKadosh Baruch Hu Moshe, Shemi אתה מבקש, you want to know my name? לפי מעשיי אני נקרא. I am called according to my actions. Meaning my name changes according to my actions. I don't have one name. My name changes according to who I am. פעמים אני נקרא באל שדאי. Sometimes I'm called El Shaddai, sometimes I'm called Tzivaot, sometimes Elokim, sometimes Avaya. When I'm going to judge the people, I'm called Elokim. When I do milchama against the Reshaim, I'm called Tzivaot. Yeah, when I'm going to be Tolech Hatav Shel Adam, I'm El Shaddai. Kishani Menachem Al Olami. When I'm going to be Menachem on the world, Havaya Yud Kevavke. And that's what it means, Eyeh Asher Eyeh. Eyeh Asher Eyeh means I am going to be according to the way, what I'm going to do, the actions that we're going to do. So therefore, now we just explain the entire concept of what is a name. But now, there's something even more than that. And comes the Ramchal, and he's going to add. Listen to what the Ramchal adds. Yeah? He comes and he says like this. The Ramchal adds even more than that. He says like this. Vine, gazar v'chakak sheizkir beruav et shemo yimashech lahem mimenu ha'ara v'hashpa'ah. He made that when you come and you say a certain name, it's going to have an effect on us. Right? According to the name that we just mentioned. Meaning, when we come and we say the name of that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, for example, is Yud Ke Vav Ke, what's actually happening? We are arousing that there should be mercy upon us because we just triggered that name. It's like we just came right now, we just turned on or opened up the faucet of that name. I called the name, whoops, I opened it up. And now all of a sudden there's going to come ashpa'ah down. And that's what it means here. So according to this foundation, you're going to find that a human being will find how to use, right, the shimush ruchani to actually, which means like a spiritual usage of doing incredible things, what we can't do in physical. So he says, when you're going to use one of these hashpa'ot, one of these faucets, by coming and mentioning the names of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And more than that, he comes and he says there's something else also. He says the malachim, every malach was given in his power a certain strength because of the way of what his name, that's what he does. Remember the file, what is he supposed to do? He's supposed to cure, right? Each malach has a messenger and his name tells you what is his job, what is his duty. So he comes and he says, some of them, they can actually even do more. I'm on the bottom of page 1. No, we did that one already. We're the next page. You
said there was a page 1.
Sorry. The next one. Page 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he comes and he says, right, where it says, on the left column in the middle. Left column in the middle of the Ramchal. Right there in the Ramchal, but in the middle. Right, where it does it say page 1? On the top. No, it has to say page 1.
Yeah.
No, I really don't see.
Yeah, okay. So he says, that's how a lot of miracles will happen. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted to give kavod to his name. When they're going to come and they're going to mention it according to the malachim, so then it's going to be mityaches to that and it's going to have an effect. So one more time, let me just try to make a summary. He comes and he says like this, there's going to be two different, how do you say hashpa'ah in English? Two different influences. Right? In English, what does that mean? When you mention the name of Hashem, number one, ha'adam yotzeh migvulot ha'teva, which means a person comes out of nature. And all of a sudden he'll come and he'll be able to do things which by nature he cannot, because he's instituting and using the name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Number two also, the person can actually change the nature. So that's something incredible. By coming and taking the name of Hashem, we have the power of taking nature and changing nature. Okay, that's very, very powerful. Okay, fine. Now we're going to speak about this. So that explains to us the essence of the name. Yeah? Okay. Now what happens is, right, we're going to speak about, can you use the names of HaKadosh Baruch Hu? So by the way, this is a very, very famous concept. We know that Rabbi Yosef was very strong against using names of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. There has been rabbis that they come and they do like, they come, they start saying names of Hashem and they start doing a whole bunch of magic and hocus pocus, right? But
they make a lot of money.
They make a lot of money, for sure. Right? So, but it's actually very, very problematic. And you should know that in Eretz Yisrael, there has been a lot of Rabbanim that have gone against these rabbis. For example, Rav Yaakov Hillel and others. Rav Yaakov Hillel wrote an entire sefer against this. He wrote an entire sefer against using names of HaKadosh Baruch Hu for Kabbalah Ma'asit. Rav Yosef used to go crazy. It happened here a few years ago. Rav David Yosef came. And there was a rabbi that was a little bit, he went right away. Boom, he just went out at it. Why? Like Rav Ovadia, very, very strong. You're not allowed. No, it's not black magic. Black magic is tum'ah.
Yeah.
You're talking about the names of Hashem. That means we're not using black magic. The names of Hashem. Of course it works. Of course it works. Of course it works. It works. Right? It works 100%. Right? We're going to see right now. Where do we see in the Torah that did anybody use the name of Hashem? Moshe Rabbeinu. The Egyptian. Very good. We're going to see it right now. Says the Gemara, page 2. Yeah, you have to turn it around, right? I think it's upside down, whatever. It's page 2. Go to page 2. Hashimush bishmotav shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Parashat Shemot, Rashi brings down. Vayomer misamecha li'isara. They come and they said, Alogeni ata omer? What, you're going to kill us? That's what you're saying? Ata omer. You're going to kill us like what you said? What do you mean like what you said? You kill us with a sword, not what you said. What do you mean what you said? Says Rashi, Alogeni ata omer. The fact that the two troublemakers went and they told Moshe Rabbeinu that you want to kill us according to what you said and not according to your action, meaning with your words and not with your actions. From here, we learned that Moshe Rabbeinu used the Shema Meforash, and with this Shema Meforash, what did he do? He killed the Egyptian. He killed the Egyptian. Make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah?
We're here.
Okay.
We're here.
Next, after seeing this, David HaMelech did the exact same thing. Where did David HaMelech do the same thing? Gemara Mesechet Sukkah, Nun Gimel Amud Aleph. David HaMelech, we know how many ma'alot do we have in the Bet HaMikdash?
13 or 26? No.
15.
Chazak u'baruch. I was going to pause. 15. How many shir ha-ma'alot do you have? 15. There's 15 ma'alot. There's 15 steps. More than that. Are all of them shir ha-ma'alot? Which one is shir la-ma'alot? Is Sinai. 121 is the only one which is shir la-ma'alot. The only one. 121. Other than that, every other shir ha-ma'alot is ha-ma'alot. Shir la-ma'alot is with a lamed. 2. There's only one. The other ones are shir ha-ma'alot. Ha-ma'alot with the hey. Right? There's a difference in with da and 2. Right? There's a difference in the English and in the Hebrew. But there was 15 steps. Now, what happened was, is the Gemara brings down in the Mesechet Sukkah, and it's also a Gemara Mesechet Makot also, that what happened was, is that David HaMelech was coming and he was trying to build the Bet HaMikdash, the foundations of the Bet HaMikdash. So he started digging. And when he started digging, what happened? He got to a piece of pottery on the bottom. And what happened was, is that he took it off. And all of a sudden, the water started coming up from the Tehom, from the depths, from the abyss. And what happened was the water starts coming up, and it wanted to completely flood the entire world. Says David HaMelech, right? He comes and he says, the Sarah Ma'alot. He comes and he says, Voridan. So what happened was, is he comes and he said, 15 Ma'alot. He comes and he says the 15 Ma'alot, Voridan. So he says, what, 15 Ma'alot, Yordot? What's going on there? He says, no. He comes and he says like this. What happened was, is that David HaMelech, why was there the 15 Ma'alot exactly? Why do we have these 15 steps? So there are 15 stages. So he comes and he says, like this. What happened was, is that he went and he asked the question. Who did he ask the question to, by the way? He asked this question to somebody that we mentioned on Shabbat.
No,
not the Chayal. Achitophel was his rabbi. We said it, that there were two people that were given wisdom. Bil'am in the Goyim and Achitophel in the Jews. Achitophel was the rabbi of David HaMelech. So he asked, does somebody know if it's permitted to write the name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu on a piece of pottery and to put it back on the Tehom or not? Nobody answered. So David HaMelech comes and he says, anybody that knows and does not answer, he should choke. What happened? Achitophel comes and he makes a kal v'chomer b'atzmo. He made his own kal v'chomer, right? And he said like this. He says, if the Torah, in order to make peace between a man and a woman, right? In order to make peace between a man and a woman, the Torah comes and Hashem erases his name to make peace between us and the entire world, meaning between the human race and the world. We're not going to erase the name of Kadosh Baruch Hu. For sure you have to erase the name of Kadosh Baruch Hu. Alacha kama v'chama. To do shalom lechol ha'olam kulo. So what happened? They actually did that. He wrote the name of Hashem on the pottery, and then it went down. Now, the truth is, though, that Gemara actually says that any kelala, any curse from a rabbi that comes, even if it comes on condition, it is still fulfilled. And therefore, even though Achitophel actually spoke, he gave the answer, right? He did give the answer, but the fact that David HaMelech came and he said that if you're, and it was a klala al t'nai, at the end of his life, what was the death of Achitophel? He committed suicide. How? Choked himself. Right? He choked himself. Yeah, he hung himself. So therefore, he actually committed suicide. And therefore, what happened? You see from here that and Yechanek Begrono, exactly what David HaMelech said. But 1 second. But what do you see from here, though? Right? Because you do see from here, though, right, that the concept of the Shira Ma'alot, the Tetvav Mizmorim of Shira Ma'alot, were said by David HaMelech to save the world, right, in this fashion. So you do see that 1 second, that they actually use the name of Hashem. So David HaMelech used the name of Hashem. Moshe Rabbeinu used the name of Hashem, right? But together with this, we have a Mishnah in Pirkei Avot. Look in the middle of. Huh? It's not that simple. No, because there's
No, it was
two.
Petek. It was a Petek.
Some people say it was a Petek, and other people say that he actually said it out loud. If you bring the Midrash, I could show you. Some people said that he actually said out loud, Yosef, we are here to come and to take you out of Mitzrayim. If you want to come and show yourself, then fine. And if not, so then we're going to be Pturim Mishvuatech. And what happened is all of a sudden it started coming and bubbling up. So according to one Midrash, he didn't actually write a name to find the name of the thing. Other opinions say that he asked Serach Bat Asher. Because he was looking, and Serach Bat Asher was the one that still came from the Midrash, and she showed him exactly where it was. So there's different opinions in the Midrashim exactly how did it come out to. So because of that, you're not obligated to say that for sure that he made a name, right, in order to get it out. According to the opinion that it actually came out on its own. It actually started coming up and bubbling up. It's floating.
They threw in the paper.
The Egel Zahav, they threw in a paper in order to make Avodah Zarah. But it's not that we're talking about, and that was the Erev Arav. Of course, but that's Erev Rav.
Yeah,
That's Zuyan Avirah. We're not talking about people that are tzaddikim that are using it for something good. We're talking about.
No, but they took it from Moshe Rabbeinu.
We brought this down to do with the entire concept of the Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai made a tikkun for Moshe Rabbeinu, because Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, right, since Moshe Rabbeinu came and he killed the Egyptian, the son of the Egyptian was the Mekalel, was the one that cursed Hashem. And how did he curse Hashem? With that name that Moshe Rabbeinu used to kill his father. I guess he obviously asked around and he found out. So therefore, what happened is that in order to fix that, right, the Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, when he killed the Ben Gerim, that was the one that went and snitched on him. Yeah. Ben Gerim was because of the Gilgul of the Ger that went and did the entire problem, the converse. So therefore, what happened was that he didn't kill him with his mouth, with the name of Hashem. How did he kill him? With his eyes. And he made him into a pile of bones just by looking at him. He didn't want to use the name of Hashem again, and that was the tikkun of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai trying to fix Moshe Rabbeinu. It was an incredible shiur, but right now we can't. Right? It's strong, very powerful, very powerful. But let's continue. Okay, fine. Pirkei Avot. It says udishtamesh betaga chalaf. What does it mean udishtamesh betaga chalaf? Right? The Rabbeinu Ovadim Bartanura comes and he says, he brings down. Right? He comes and he says, Yesh mefarshim tagad asher tevot talmid gavra acharina asur ladam nishtamesh betalmidim she'en talmidav. You're not allowed to use talmidim which are not his. But ani shamati, but I actually heard, right, that hem yishtamesh b'shem hameforash. If you use the name of Hashem, chalaf ve'avad she'en lo chelek l'olam haba. The person loses his chelek l'olam haba. So imagine, a person comes and he uses the name of Hashem, right? What happens? He loses his olam haba. Yeah, it's a powerful concept. And that's also the Ramchal. The Ramchal is number 1, hey, where he says over here in the bottom of page 1. 1 second, 1 Aleph, Gimel. When it says over there, he says, what? Yes, Suhe. Where he comes and he says like this, he says that it's not going to be fitting for a regular person to come and to use it. Look where it says Tuhei. It's a mistake. It says here, it's not proper that somebody is going to use the serpents. No. What's the word in English? Not the serpent, the staff, but there's another word for it. Of the king. I forgot the word in English. There's another word.
El bastón?
Sí, pero el bastón, pero hay otra palabra. Pero for the king's scepter. Thank you. the king's scepter. So he says, "Ve'al davar ze amru chachamenu zichronam livracha." You see why you have to come to the shiur. Yeah, so he says it's not fitting. Udishtamesh betagach alav ve'neter badavar. There's no heter to use the name of Hashem. Ela lakdoshim akrovim lo yitbarach uvekim bo. People that are so holy and that they're connected to Hashem, that they're going to use it lemashi yivalem mimenu kiddush shemo yitbarach, to make a kiddush Hashem. Vezulat ze, and if not, af al pi shelo timana peula lishtamesh, if they're not going to do it. Or yishmor darkei hashimush karoi anoshi yanesh. He's going to be punished. Meaning, if a person already knows the name of Hashem and he's going to use it for a wrong purpose, he gets punished for it. Right? ממש, אין הדבר מוחלט אל מוגבל בגבילות, מה שראתה החוכמה העליונה היותו ואם באותו הגבול עצמו, גזירתו יתברך, right ממנו, so he comes and he says, כל זמן שירצה, he says, כשתגזור חוכמתו, היות מניעה ראויה ונאותה, it's going to be actually proper. So he comes and he says, this is how important it is, the entire concept, that a person just has to understand that it's not just for anybody to come and start using the name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You can't just come and do it whatever you want. And that's also brought down in the Shach. Remember, until now, we weren't talking about halakha. Now we're going to go to page 3, and on the top you have Shulchan Aruch, and Shulchan Aruch comes and he says, "Ochez et ha'enayim asur." You're not allowed to do ochez achizat enayim. Do you know what achizat enayim is?
No.
Achizat enayim is like optical illusions. It's going to be asur, right? Magic.
Sleight of hand.
Well, very good. So therefore, I still remember until today, we were in Venezuela, and in one of the parties that we did over there, we had a magician come. A Jewish magician. He did all the tricks, but the condition that Rav David Peretz permitted him to do the tricks is that after he went and he did the tricks, he had to reveal them.
Yeah.
Now, he had to reveal them. He had to reveal the tricks. Now, a lot of magicians, right, are not going to do that, because if they're going to do that, I'm going to take him the next time. Right? That's a job. That's the trick. But that was the only condition. Why? Maran says, "Ochez et ha'enayim asur." You're not allowed to do achizat enayim. You're not allowed to do all these things that, no. Asur. Shulchan Aruch. Val yedei sefer yetzirah mutar. Siman kuf ayin tet. You have it in your thing. I should have said it to you.
But if it's a business.
No, but even with the business, not allowed. I could have a business. I'm killing people. I'm part of the mafia. Yeah, business doesn't help.
Moroccan.
Doesn't help business. Somebody has a business open on Shabbat. It doesn't help, even if it's a business. The concept is you have to have a business of kosher things. For example, I could sell non-kosher wine, right? We had a story with this, yeah? Somebody's selling non-kosher wine. It's a business, yeah, but if I'm not allowed to benefit from non-kosher wine, it doesn't matter business, no business. There's halakha. Halakha says asur, asur.
Tough.
Right?
Kufain.
No, not tough. Kufain. That's not achizat enayim. Juggling is not achizat enayim. Achizat enayim is like the magic that you don't know. I come and say, "Oh, it's behind your ear." I come and it took it out. That's called achizat enayim. Taking balls and throwing it up like this. I'm not doing achizat enayim. I see it. Don't think it's you're very, very quick with your hands. But that's not magic. We're talking about achizat enayim. Achizat enayim is completely different. Okay, so he says, "Al yedei sefer yetzirah is mutar va'afilu la'asot maaseh." If you come and you take sefer yetzirah and you learn it, you could do something from sefer yetzirah. So he says, Maaseh Shedim is going to be asur, and some people permit it, right? Let's say, for example, Maaseh Shedim, one second, Maaseh Shedim, you know what Maaseh Shedim is? I could actually come and you could control demons. You like it? Sounds good, no? Somebody steals something from you, and you want to find it. So what do? You come and you get the Shedim, and you tell them, bring it back to us. Yeah? So Maran brings down, Maaseh Shedim, some people say it's asur, and some people permit in order to get back your geneva. In order to get back, that's what you're stolen.
Wouldn't mess it around.
Nah, you don't like it. Richard, keep your feet on the floor, right? You don't want to fly away with them, yeah? Fine. So now it comes. It's true that what? For sure for sure they come, they control them. They had a lot of there was a lot of stories with them. Yeah?
You have a story with this?
You know, we had a story. You know that in Venezuela, there was a boy. There was a boy.
Yeah, big time. We do covering.
Do you know that in Venezuela, there was a boy that he learned Masechet Berachot, the Vav Mud Aleph. And there was written that if you put flour, right, around your bed, so you could actually come and you could see the rooster, the chicken feet. So he went and he said, let me play the joke. Yeah? I don't know who it was, but I heard that they did it. And what happened was that you put it around the bed, and the next morning, he actually saw the chicken feet. Yeah. Imagine what he needed to go through afterwards. Yeah. So basically Berachot. Vav Amud Aleph.
No,
Yeah.
pero no es el-
So
para verlos es el
yes,
efer-
to see them.
no,
Para
To
ver la
see
pa-
them is the efer of the
gato
cat,
negro, hijo de
of the son of the grand. Yeah. But that's a cat from the fetus. Okay.
Right.
So it says now the Shach. The Shach says you're allowed to do Sefer HaYetzirah. La'asot lecha techila de shemot HaKodesh Shem. Because they're names of Hashem. V'Hashem yibarach natan behem koach sheyuchlu lifol. Hashem gave the power in the names to do it. And it actually shows the greatness of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. B'kedushav ta'ara, if you do it for Kedushat Hashem or letzorech mitzvah rabbah. You do it for Kiddush Hashem or for a great mitzvah, asher lo nimtza ze bedorot halalu ba'avonotenu harabim.
So what we don't do now, I guess.
So you don't have it nowadays. Ba'avonotenu harabim. What does that mean? For example, do you know that it happened with Avraham ben Avraham? Hager tzedek I forgot it was Avraham Potrop. I think I forgot the exact name. There was a famous story of Avraham ben Avraham. He was a goy, a son of one of these big Caesars, one of these big people up there in the government. A few hundred years during the time of the government of Vilna. So we're talking around 200-300 years ago. And what happened is that he converted. And when he converted to Judaism, especially in the olden days, you became a fugitive. And he was on the run. And what happened was he always made sure that he was going from one place to another, but he was a mamash a ger tzedek. He was 100%. Huh? 100%. He was a ger tzedek completely. He was so great. What happened is that once he went to a Bet HaMidrash to learn, and he used to live in the Bet HaMidrash. Why? Because nobody. He was learning and learning and learning. Yeah. So what happened is that after learning, it was a child. Right nowadays you would say a phone, but you usually say a child. That they went and he started screaming. So what did he do? He went and shooed the child away. He says, "What are you doing? We're learning here. What's going on?" So what happened? He shot the child away. The child went to the papa. And the papa says, "You're going to start with my son? Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? You think you're a tough guy?" He went and he snitched to the government. And they caught him. They put him in jail.
Yeah.
And the Gaon Mivilna wrote to him a letter and told him, "If you want, with Shemot HaKodesh, I could get you free from jail. Do you want me to get you free or not?" The Gaon Mivilna. So obviously, right, when we're talking about the Gaon,
Sorry, what happened?
fine. For you, I'll finish the story. For you, I want to keep you in suspense. At the end of the series, I'll give it to you.
No,
Yeah,
I'm not going to get it.
So a great mitzvah, Kiddush Hashem.
No.
He said he wants to dial Kiddush Hashem. He didn't want to be freed. He was going to dial Kiddush Hashem.
And
So then he said, and also
Hashem freed him, no?
tell the father that I'm mochel him.
He's a better man than me.
So what happened? What happened is he was actually killed on Kiddush Hashem. But you see from the story that the Gaon Mivilna, and this is obviously the Gaon had the power to do these things, but he wasn't going to use it just like this. You understand? Meaning that we're talking about, great. Ba'avonotenu harabim, the Shach says, we don't have these things nowadays.
Oh, Yeshua also have it.
Yeah? No, but Yeshua, he did it on his own and he did everything. What do you want?
Yeah, creo que-
No, also, he did it to go against the Shalom. 100%. But again, you're talking about the Tanaim. Okay, but fine. But anyway, no mitzvah b'dor hazeh. So he says, not only that, matzinu shene'enash Yeshaya al zeh. Right? We know that Yeshaya Navi was actually punished on this. Udvarav nechonim. And he says, she'en nishtamesh, right? Yeshaya Navi, he said the name, and he was swallowed up into the tree. You remember, then his tzitzit was sticking out, and they came in, they started cutting down the tree until finally they got to the mouth. And then when they cut them out, then that's when he died. It was a famous story in the Gemara. But it says over here, she'en li yishtamesh. Okay, but I can't tell you all the stories in the Shas. You know, I have to be a little bit on the ball.
No. You
So he
cannot
says,
everything.
"En li yishtamesh b'shemot HaKodesh." Listen, he came for story time. Story time. Give him another drink.
Before you go to sleep, call the rabbi, get him on the phone, rabbi, I'm putting you here, and you want to
Story time.
I'm going to charge him for his babysitter. I've already babysitted all day. I'm already babysitting. You want to do it again?
At least now you do it for adults, not for kids.
I do. No comments.
Are you recording that?
Yes, it's
Oh
all
my
recording.
God.
I'm going to sell it afterwards. Don't worry about it. Yeah, so he says over here, "Udishtamesh v'tagach alav." What does that mean? Do not use it. He says it's only for mitzvah rabbah. Gam besifrei hamekubalim mevuar she'avon gadol hu hamishtamesh bishmo Al ken hamonea yevorach. Says the Gaon, even in the Sifra Mekubalim, it says you're not supposed to use it. Don't come and start using the name of Hashem. So he says it's avon gadol. It's a grave sin. So he says if you use the name, and therefore the one that doesn't use it, he's going to be blessed. Don't just come and start using the names of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The Gaon, this was the Shach. The Gaon comes and he says, right, and we're talking about over here, right? The Gaon comes and he says it's in very, very small letters. You see it? On page 3, it's 3, right? Yeah?
3 Aleph.
Yes, 3 Aleph towards the bottom, where it says, and he says over there, he brings down Rabbi Yehuda Hasid, the Sefer Hasidim. And what does he say over there? Do you know there were people that they even made malachim swear? On Hilchot Havdalah, are you guys listening? Hilchot Havdalah, open up a tour on Hilchot Havdalah. And in the tour in Hilchot Havdalah, he brings down there an incredible concept about making malachim swear to do things that you needed. Where did we ever see such a thing of making malachim swear, or making them swear and all of a sudden you could use them for whatever you wanted? Huh? No. You know where? Churban HaBayit. Do you know there was a city, right, of Beitar, and there was other cities as well, that they weren't afraid of the Goyim. You know why they weren't afraid of the Goyim? Because they knew the names of malachim. And whenever they wanted, they would cause the malach to come and fight for them. And if the malach is going to come and fight for them, they're not afraid because they know they have protection. Imagine right now you have a secret service weapon, and that's it. It's much better than an atomic bomb. You don't have to do anything. The malachim come and boom, they wipe the ninjas out. They just kill them out. You don't have to do anything. Imagine. So what are you going to do? It's the best thing in the world. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, when he saw that, he changed the names of the malachim. And therefore, when they wanted to come and to swear the malachim, they had to change their names. Once he changed their names, they don't answer you anymore. So therefore, that was their downfall, and they were all killed. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu went, but you see from there, there's a concept. And in the tour, in Hilchot Havdalah, he actually brings us down. Yeah, he comes and he brings us down. He concept. So, but says the Gaon, if he brings down a Sefer Hasidim, Rabbi Yehuda Hasid, yeah, he comes and he says, if you're going to come and you're going to start making swear these malachim, it's not going to be good at the end. It's not going to be good. And he's going to have bad things happening, or to him, or to his children. So don't start playing around with things. Right? Don't start playing around with these things. Understand? Don't start playing around.
Where does it come from? Look, Shem Hashem.
Yes, we're going to see it though, but there's many different things of names of Hashem that don't play. Again, you're not oved on Lotis Shem Hashem, but there's a concept that do not use it. It's like the most powerful weapon that you cannot use. We're actually going to learn. That's also why the reason of the Kohen Gadol and all those things also, right? There's a whole thing. Why can a Kohen Gadol not marry an almanah? Yeah? Why? How could he kill the Baal? Exactly. The Kohen Gadol, he's got a very powerful weapon. Imagine right now, right? He's Shuf Einik. He sees a woman. She's a beautiful woman, but there's a problem. Yeah? Married. She's married. So what does he do? He goes in the Kodesh HaKodashim on Kippur, and all he says is 1 second. He says a name, and Kaddish on the guy. The guy drops dead, right? And that's it. And then he comes out. Oh, I feel so bad. This guy, okay, so he's going to go to the Levaya. He's going to do the Esper. And then afterwards, right after the Shiva, or nowadays, even in the middle of the Shiva, by the way, do you want, we could hook you up. Yeah? And she says, yeah, of course. She needs someone. She needs a man. And now the Kohen Gadol. Who's going to be better than Kohen Gadol? Because of that, right, there's a concept that a Kohen Gadol cannot get married to an almanah. A regular Kohen can get married to an almanah.
Because he doesn't have the power.
He doesn't have the power. But the Kohen Gadol is not allowed to. Shemuel HaNavi. Yeah, Shemuel HaNavi. What happened with him is that since he knew the name of Hashem, he was never able to benefit from anybody. Because we never wanted that if they were going to come and start benefiting from, and they have the power of using the name of Hashem in 2 seconds, we didn't want that. Imagine, you come and you start up with a guy, right, that the guy could take you down in 2 seconds. He doesn't even have to touch you. He just says, boo. Right? Obviously, the boo is, with the name. Come on, no, Kaddish. There's nothing to talk about. So therefore, people, they have to, so there was rules and regulations. But fine. Now we're going to go to the next part of the shiur, which is basically after we just learned, this was Rabbi Yehuda Chassid that he goes through it, where Rabbi Yehuda Chassid comes and he says, right, he says that you could know that if something happened bad, he says, you know very well that they were starting to make these swearings, and he comes and he says, Tamim tiyeh im Hashem lokecha. That was the pasuk probably that you're looking for, Eli, which means that we want to be tamim with Hashem. We don't want to start looking all these, hocus pocus things and start doing names. No. Tamim tiyeh im Hashem lokecha. You have to be tamim. Tamim means I'm 100% with Hashem, without any, sorcery, even if it's not of avodah zarah. I'm 100% with the Kadosh Baruch Hu. Okay, fine. The next part is a very important concept that has to do with the names of Hashem. All the entire Torah are names of a Kadosh Baruch Hu, if you actually pay attention. And therefore, that's how you get the names. Because if not, how do you get the names of Hashem? So listen to this. The Gemara comes and the Gemara says as follows. This is a Gemara this is the Ramban, right, at the beginning of the Torah, okay? And he's going to say, right, as follows. He brings down like this. He says, okay, it's a Gemara Berachot verse, you're going to, how do you know that you make a Birkat Torah? So he says, but when I'm going to mention the name of Hashem, so I'm going to bring it. And what does that mean? So the Maharsha comes and he says, Torah shi kula shemot shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and he brings down like the Mat Ramban. So I'm on page 4, John Jack, yeah? Which means that you see from here, right, that really be'emet, we are, the names, the entire Torah are names of Hashem. You just have to learn how to read them. So he comes and he says like this, look at the Ramban. The Ramban on page 4, Gimel, it says, Od yesh biyadenu Kabbalah shel emet, Ki kol Torah kula shemotav shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Says the Ramban. Now remember, the Ramban was a mekubal. The Ramban many times he says Val derech haemet, and then he comes and he gives you a whole explanation according to the Kabbalah. Right? I know that many of my Rabbeim, since they weren't in Kabbalah, so many times whenever they got that, they would skip it out. All the other Rambans they knew by heart. The second they got it, but the Ramban was, so he comes and he says they have a Kabbalah v'emet, that the entire Torah kula is going to be what? Is going to be names of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So he comes and he says, and because of that, it says, Vayisa vayavo vayet, these are the 72 names coming from the, right before Shirat Hayam. Remember, it was Remi that said, no, about the 72 names. The 72 names of Vayisa vayavo vayet. The 3 psukim in, right before Az Yashir Moshe. That's what you have it. So that's why he says, that's why when you have a Sefer Torah, you have one letter missing, the entire thing is pasul. And if you think about it, how could it be? Imagine right now I'm going to come and I'm going to miss a little hey. Right? Torah. I'm going to write it with an A, without the H, an A. Or let's say you always write it with an A.
That's why that guy, you're going to write it with an
Aleph. I hate this. You're going to come and you're going to change them. Why was so much speed? Like Ribono Shel Olam, we're talking about one letter. Right? How many thousands and hundreds of thousands of letters? One letter. Yeah, we're talking about 365,000. Right? Even though they say 600,000, there's a whole pshat in that. So he comes and he says like this. So he says, however, though, he comes and he says, the reason why is, he comes and he says the reason why is because it's all derech shemot. What does that mean? Everything is shemot of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And he brings, right? And he brings an incredible concept. Where do you see this? Yeah? Where do you see this exactly? So he comes and he says like this. He says, how do you see this? He says in every single parasha, you have this. So I'm going to bring to you outside just a few of them. He comes and he says like this, Bereshit bara Elokim. The beginning, the first pasuk in the Torah, Bereshit bara Elokim. At the beginning, right, or Hashem created the beginning. That's why when they translated it, they actually flipped it. They wrote down, Hashem created the beginning, not the beginning created Hashem. Because if you translate it literally, Bereshit, the beginning, bara Elokim, created God. Obviously it was the opposite, but that's just the way. So what happened was, Bereshit bara Elokim. How do we divide it? He says, Bereshit bara is Berosh Yitbara, meaning at the beginning, right, it was created, which means Berosh Yitbara, right? It's not Bereshit bara, Berosh Yitbara. So therefore he comes and he says, how does it mean? What do you mean Berosh Yitbara? He comes and he says, that's how we understand that the Torah was written, Esh Chora al Esh Levana, a black fire, right, on top of white fire. Which means that you see that everything, there's the way to read every single word is completely different. And that's how he's coming and he's actually saying that in every single parasha, you have this. And that's why if you actually pay attention, right, that was the shita of the malachim. Think about it. Parashat Yitro, we know that there was a big machloket, and this is what we read in the Lamnatseach Samechet on 68 on Shavuot. We come and we say Malchei Elohim, right? There's the Malachim. They wanted to come and they wanted to take the Torah, and Hakadosh Baruch Hu, right, comes and he says, okay, so Moshe Rabbeinu, b'chavod, answer them. So he said, I can't answer them. They're going to eat me alive. So he said, no, grab them. Don't worry, answer them. So what's written in the Torah? But 1 second, what was the Havamina of the Malachim? Why are the Malachim asking for the Torah? The Torah, like what Moshe Rabbeinu asked, right? They can't eat basar v'chalav. They don't eat. They have parents. There's no parents. So what? The answer is not because of more than the kedusha. Let me take what you just. The Torah. Only if you're coming and you're looking at the Torah the way that we have it, we know that it says kabed et avicha ve'et imecha. It says, but if you look at the entire Torah had no substitutes. It had no nekudot. It had no, what does that mean? The Torah was all one scroll. It was one word. So imagine, but it's all one word. Now, many times you come and you could put the paseks, right? You know what pasek is, yeah? You're looking it up. It's there. You take all the pasek, you put them, and you can put them in different places, right? So therefore, it all depends on how you're doing it. So that was their concept. So that's what he says. Everything was exactly like that, which means that the Ramban comes and he brings this down also in Drashat Torat Hashem Temimah. In every single parasha, you have a name of a Kadosh Baruch Hu, which is created through what's done there. Leduma in Sefer Yecheskel, when it's talking about Parashat Ametim, that he was Mechayeh Otam, Hashem Shebo Adam Mechayeh Metim is there. Meaning, if you would learn Sefer Yecheskel where it was talking about Tchiyat HaMetim, and you would know the secrets behind it, you would be able to do Tchiyat HaMetim. You find the name of Hashem there in order to do Tchiyat HaMetim, right? And that's the koach also of Chasidei Adorot, that they were able to do Shinui HaTeva and Minago Shel Olam, La'amit, to kill, to make live, La'aros Livnov Livtoa, to do anything that they wanted, because they come and they're able to do all these things just in the fact of how they're doing these things. So now we understand a bakasha. There's a bakasha that is actually brought down in Zemirot of Shabbat. They say, this is from Motzei Shabbat, there's a tefillah, right? Neged Ain Hara. Right? A tefillah. Neged Ain Hara, to say it 11 times. Ribono Shel Olam, Hatzel et Amecha Bet Yisrael, Master of the universe, save Amecha Yisrael from all types of sorcery. Umikol mine Ain Hara, from Ain Hara. Ushem sheparasta chenafecha lavotenu shebimar, just like you spread your wings on our forefathers in the desert. Shelo shalta lehem meneh beishad Bilam, that the Ain Hara of Bilam HaRasha did not affect them. Ken tifros alem lachamecha rabin liotenu mechusim. So too you should cover us, that it should be covered. Bishmotecha hakedoshim, with your holy names. Mikol ena bisha, from all Ain Hara. You say this, right? V'tov lomar achar, after the 11 psukim, you say this tefillah kitzara. So there's 11 psukim, and then after it's brought down the Rav Chida. Afterwards, remind me and I'll give it to you. Right? There's 11 psukim, and after the 11 psukim, you come and you say this tefillah. Okay, so imagine. But what's the explanation then that we're saying, mechusim, we're going to be covered by your holy names. What does that mean? So according to what we just brought down, and it's also Rabbeinu B'Chayai, says Rabbeinu B'Chayai, and also the Ramban, right, in Kitisa. The Ramban comes and he says, right, what does that mean? כי בשומם זה התנצלו והתפרקו מכל עדי יותר ממה שעשו תחילה. ואונקלוס שתרגם בעדי תיקון זין, דעתו כדברי אומם, he says like this, he says, we know that Bnei Yisrael came and they took off their jewelry, right? And what happened is that Unklus comes and it says tikun zayin. What are we referring to exactly? He comes and he says that each one of them, HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave them, by Matan Torah, he gave them like a weapon in order to be saved from any pega and malach hamavet. Right? That it says, charut al aluchot, cherut mi malach hamavet. They were saved from the malach hamavet. That means every single Jew was actually given by Matan Torah like a weapon. Klei zayin. Klei zayin is weaponry, in order to fight against the malach hamavet. The malach hamavet would not be able to kill him. By the way, you should know, if it wasn't for the Chet Hegel, we would have not died at all. We would have gone back to what it was, right? The Madriga of Adam Rishon, right? So he comes and he says, Vehem shemotav. Yes, that's what it says. Charut al aluchot says, Cherut mi malach hamavet. Vehem shemotav shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. These are the names of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So that's what he comes and it says. Rabbeinu B'Chayai says, Ulfi ma shedershu, et Shem HaMefurash haya. Shem HaMefurash. Because they had the Shem HaMefurash, which means that they actually had it. They had the. So that's the pshat when we come and we say that Chagar HaKadosh Baruch Hu Livnei Yisrael to be saved. And these are all names of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So that's why we come and we want to be covered by the names of Hashem. So we're not going to be revealed, right? Revealed to the Malach HaMavet. That's why we want protection. We're saying, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we want your names to come and to protect us. Now we have to understand what's the difference between Ruach HaKodesh and Nevuah. So I'm gonna go quickly. So please put on your seatbelts. Okay. Before we're going to go to learn the words of the Ramban and the entire concept of the Urim Tumim, we have to understand the difference between Nevuah and between Ruach HaKodesh. The Gemara Masech Batra. Okay, the Gemara comes and it says like this: from the days of the Beit HaMikdash was destroyed, Af al pi shenitla nevuah min haneviim, min hachachamim lo nitla. Even though the nevuah was taken away from the prophets, it wasn't taken away from the chachamim. And the Ramban actually brings down that it was taken away from the neviim, but the chachamim is going to be something different. And he says, even though it was taken away from the neviim, shehu hamar'eh ve'achazon, which is the seeing of it, he says nevuat hachachamim, which is b'derech chokhmah, was not taken away, but rather they know it through the Ruach HaKodesh, which is within them. Meaning there's going to be a difference between Nevuah, a prophecy, which somebody gets, and Ruach HaKodesh that they have that's something actually within them. And therefore, there actually was very famous. The Gemara says that the Nevuah was taken away from the Nevi'im, and it was given to Cheresh Shoteh Katan. That's why sometimes when somebody comes and he says, they have Nevuah, I come and I say, I know exactly that's why, right? Because it was given to the people that they're not 100% there, right? And by the way, so he comes and he says this. He says, "Ulam adayin nishara darga yoter nemucha," which is called Dargat Ruach HaKodesh. Just like the Meiri says. The Meiri says over here, these are the Gemarot. The Meiri comes and he says over here on page 6, he comes and he says, what's the difference between Nevuah and Ruach HaKodesh? lo tavo rak leshalem meikar yitzirato b'acharato b'shnei hakochot. He says, to get Nevuah, you have to be mamash perfect. You have to be perfect yourself to a level which is above and beyond. He says, Shiyeh ha'isha tachlit shlemut ha'chokhmah, that you're able to get it. Ube'et ha'nevuah b'yekitz yibadlu b'rov ha'nevi'im ha'kochot ha'gitcha. They won't be able to feel anything. And it's kilu that mamash and Hashem speaking to him. But Ruach HaKodesh is below Nevuah. And the Ruach HaKodesh is Adam HaShalem v'tasko b'dvarim Elokim terru Ruach Elokim v'tofia leshono shevach v'oda'ah ol divrei sechel u'musarim. There's actually going to be an incredible Derech Hashem, and there's going to be the Rambans going through explaining the Ruach HaKodesh by Avraham Avinu, by Yitzchak Avinu, Yaakov Avinu, the David HaMelech, Shlomo Melech, the Nevi'im, the Nevuah of Moshe Rabbeinu. So obviously there's going to be a lot more there that we still have to obviously capture. I will finish that. I'll finish if we're already speaking about Rav Chaim Kanievsky, Zecher Tzadik V'Kadosh Livracha, that it's going to be the Nachala. So I'm going to explain to you the following. Rav Chaim Kanievsky, somebody once came to him and he wrote him a letter. And what happened is that when he wrote him a letter, he wrote the letter to Rav Chaim Kanievsky because what happened is he got into an accident and he killed an elderly man. And he lived in Eretz Yisrael. Yeah, and what happened is that the guy felt terrible. So he went and he wrote a letter to Rav Chaim Kanievsky.
No, he can't.
And what? No, he wrote a letter to Rav Chaim Kanievsky. And what happened is that he wrote in the letter, yeah, he comes and he says like this. He says, yeah. So what happened? He comes and he says like this. He says, what happened is that Rav Chaim Kanievsky went and he told him, right, Amalek.
Well,
yeah, he told him, don't worry about it, Amalek. He comes back. He said, I don't understand. He said, no, it's Amalek. You don't have to worry about it. So the guy didn't understand exactly what was happening. He didn't understand what was happening. So what happened is that he went, right, and he felt terrible. You know what it is. He just killed a person. It was by accident. It was a car accident. He felt terrible. He went to the daughter's house, knocks on the door. So the daughter lets him in and this and that. And, he's speaking to her, right? They were actually goyim. They were goyim. But when they were goyim, what happened is that he's going around and she said, no, I would just want to see pictures. I'm so sorry. I feel so bad, this and that. And all of a sudden he sees a picture on the wall. And what was it? The guy was standing in his Nazi, uniform, a few people beside Hitler. And then he understood what Rav Chaim Kanievsky meant. When Rav Chaim Kanievsky went and he told him Amalek, he told him, don't worry about it. Right? You killed Amalek. You don't have to worry. Don't be worried.
Wow.
And then That's called Ruach HaKodesh. Why is that Ruach HaKodesh? You think Rav Chaim Kanievsky went to the guy's house? You think he never knew who the guy was? Right away on the instant he comes and he says, Amalek, you don't have to worry. Right, that's it. That's called Ruach HaKodesh. So Ruach HaKodesh is the kavanah
When was
that
that?
comes. Huh? In Eretz Yisrael a few years ago.
I heard
Yeah.
that.
There was a guy
Yeah.
the guy that he killed